All right, as of 90 seconds ago, Title 42 is still in effect. For how much longer, we don't know. This Trump-era policy is making a horrific situation at the border somewhat more manageable. The Biden administration is intent on getting rid of Title 42. They have gone to court. They really seem intent on destroying America, don't they? And they're rather proud of it and self-righteous about it.
I want to be very clear here. The fact is that the removal of Title 42 does not mean the border is open. Anyone who suggests otherwise is simply doing the work of these smugglers who, again, are spreading misinformation and which is very dangerous.
It's very dangerous to talk truthfully about the situation at the border. These are people who engage in misinformation. So this afternoon, the Biden administration, they filed the paperwork formally stating that they want Title 42, yes, to go away. The government recognizes that the end of Title 42 orders will likely lead to disruption and a temporary increase in unlawful border crossings. The government in no way seeks to minimize the seriousness of that problem. Funny, she just did a moment ago. Next, please. But the solution to that immigration problem cannot be to extend indefinitely a public health measure that all now acknowledge has outlived its public health justification. Oh, yeah? The Democrat mayor in New York City just told me to mask up again. Title 42, it works. We should keep it. They're actively fighting it. That's crazy. And what about the messaging? Us, truth tellers, talking about the border situation realistically, somehow we're at fault. Take a look at this. Martha Raddatz sat down with Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, and look at her character. Listen to her characterization of what's happening right now.
You talk about the border wall. You talk about open borders. I don't think I've ever heard President Biden say, we have an open border, come on over. But people I have heard say it are you, are former President Trump, or Ron DeSantis. That message reverberates in Mexico and beyond.
It's pretty wild. She's saying that we should deny there's a problem. We can't talk about it. This is wannabe disinformation and misinformation, which the mainstream engages in all the time. And oh, by the way, you want to see an example of Joe Biden actually saying, yes, please come, rush the border. Don't worry about it. Come on in. He did. It was his campaign promise that he's actually made good on.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
All right. Everybody thinks they're oppressed, and everybody's coming. Thanks, Joe. This was Democrat messaging. That brought on the problem that we have right now. It's not our fault. Think about it. They have dismantled the border. They are aggressively moving to dismantle it even further, and they're blaming the truth tellers. With all that happening, what's the next crisis? What do they really want to talk about? Take a look.
Yesterday was a criminal referral for insurrection. Today, it could be his taxes.
Right now, another House committee is meeting behind closed doors, digging into the tax returns that Donald Trump spent years desperately trying to keep out of public view.
The decision facing the Ways and Means Committee today has been years in the making, and it couldn't come at a worse time for Trump.
They've been saying that for a long time, right? Oh boy, he's really had it now. They're always wrong, and they'll be wrong on this tax issue as well. By the way, it's unconstitutional, in my opinion. This is something the media should be fighting. There is no constitutional requirement for a president to turn over their personal tax returns. Look it up in the Constitution. It's actually not many things you have to be legally. You can't find it in the Constitution that you have to turn over your tax returns. And when he ultimately does, if this is actually going to work out that way, they may be disappointed, the Democrats, because every now and then the mainstream, they do get a glimpse at Donald Trump's tax returns, like Rachel Maddow did a couple of years ago on live television. She was reading it for the first time and rather disappointed by what she found.
What I have here is a copy of Donald Trump's tax returns. We have his federal tax return for 1 year for 2005. I believe this is the only set of the president's federal taxes that reporters have ever gotten a hold of. What we have are these 2 pages, front and back. And in terms of what's on here, let me give you the basics. Aside from the numbers being large, these pages are straightforward. He paid $38 million, looks like $38 million in taxes. He took a big write-down of $103 million. More on that later. If you add up the lines for income, he made more than $150 million in that year. Mazel tov.
So a billionaire is rich and getting richer. And that's what they're going to find out all over again while our country is falling apart. Why do they want that border wide open? Really? Why is the Biden administration fighting in court to revoke Title 42? Well, there are a couple of reasons. You probably know them by now. They want the cheap labor. They want the votes. And these folks, when they get to America, I think they're going to be pliable. That's at least their thinking, that they'll want to kind of go with the flow, not cause too many waves, a controllable population. Those who come here illegally tend to hide, tend to avoid, and tend to not cause, well, they just don't want to be arrested. Whereas people who come here legally through that great big beautiful door and raise the right hand and say, we support American values, we want to be a part of this, well, these are the folks that we like in America. Of course we do. All right. So with all this going on, guess who's back in the news? Jack Smith. Ring a bell? Yikes. He's going to give me bad dreams. This is the special counsel that was appointed a couple of weeks ago to investigate Donald Trump. What do they want on him? Oh, yeah, the documents of Mar-a-Lago and January 6th stuff. Before we get to the news item on him, quick review. His family has given money to Barack Obama. His wife is a documentarian who does I Love You movies about Michelle Obama. This is the guy, the impartial guy, and he also wears a purple tunic to work for some reason. This is the guy who's going to be independent and neutral when it comes to investigating Trump. And by the way, he was appointed in November. Where the hell is he?
We've heard a lot of Jack Smith, but we haven't seen much of him. He has been in Europe. He's been recovering from a bike accident. My colleague Paula Reed is told, though, that he will be returning to the U.S. in early January. Part of what he wants to do is he wants to set up an office outside of the Justice Department, get these prosecutorial teams under one roof.
What an independent move. He's going to set up his office outside the Justice Department, maybe across the street at the FBI, huh? How independent? You think real estate has anything to do with this? By the way, quick reminder, the FBI, we got to move it. It's got to be renamed, restaffed, and moved out of Washington, D.C. Right now, they've got a complex that's bigger than the White House right in the middle of Congress and the White House on Pennsylvania Avenue. They think they're their own branch of government, and that's dangerous. It's actually a holdover, I believe, from J. Edgar Hoover, who seems his legacy is alive and well at the Bureau. J. Edgar Hoover, of course, abused his power, was an unethical man, cut corners big and small to achieve more power for himself and the Bureau. How little has changed. Jim Comey, wow. You know, I actually went through his book recently. He deliberately tried to sabotage the Trump administration. And for now, it looks like he almost got away with it, although Donald Trump was able to accomplish some amazing things. Listen to this.
I was worried very much about being in kind of a J. Edgar Hoover type situation. I didn't want him thinking that I was briefing him on this to sort of hang it over him in some way.
Yeah, the dossier. I actually read his book, a portion of it today, Jim Comey. He relished the opportunity. Oh, boy. The FBI director, isn't he supposed to talk to the incoming president? He didn't until he had that salacious, phony dossier to tell him about. That's when he made the appointment. That and all that stuff about Russia interference, which was exaggerated and hyped beyond belief, all in an effort to sabotage, an attempted sabotage of the administration. This is not a by-the-book guy. He actually admits it at times. He likes to get away with things.
You look at this White House now, and it's hard to imagine two FBI agents ending up in the same room. How did that happen?
I sent them. Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration, in the George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration. In both of those administrations, there was process. And so if the FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals and who would be there. And I thought it's early enough, let's just send a couple guys over.
Just send a couple of guys. Cut corners. Maybe you can get away with it. And maybe you did. I don't think so. This sending the FBI to shake things up, to intimidate, to possibly coerce an organization into doing something overtly or subtly, that's a trick of the trade. It goes way back to J. Edgar Hoover. You know, they pulled it on two Republican senators, Senator Johnson, Senator Grassley. They were making real progress in their Hunter Biden probe. They sent the FBI in to discredit that probe. The FBI showed up to brief these two gentlemen on Russia disinformation. It is now understood that that was an attempt to discredit the entire probe. If the FBI briefs them on such a matter, well, that means it must be happening, and that means it's leakable, and that means it's printable, which it is. The Washington Post wrote it, and they tried to discredit the entire probe of Hunter Biden that these senators were carrying out. But what is Trump saying about all this? You know, we don't hear from him as much. I think we will more after the holidays. He's not on Twitter. I hope he goes back, but he is on Truth Social. And he has a lot to say about what we're learning about Twitter and the FBI. We've been covering it here on Newsmax. The FBI and the Twitter are kind of in bed together.